Hello, everyone. My name is Shelly Dressel. I'm coming to you today with a ULB mini, and today I'm going to be channeling Albayon. Recently, there was the plane accident in the Patomic River, and there's been a lot of different stuff being talked about that. So I kind of have my own personal feeling, but I'm curious to see what Albayon has to say. There's also this talk about putting a dome over the U.S., and that just sounds odd to me. I know they talked about protection and Israel has one and all these different things. So I'm just kind of curious between both those two things to see if Albayon has any information for us that you guys might be wondering about too. So I'm Shelly Dressel, crystallinetransformations.com, and please subscribe and like if this is something you're interested in. Greetings. It is I, Albayon. I wanted to speak with you today because you are in a kind of a pivotal place. You're just moving into a new month, and I have been chuckling at the very large number of people that said that January felt as if it was about 6 months long, some even a year long. So there was a lot of changes that began in January. As you recall, I have said multiple times that the solstice that took place in December was really opening up the doorway for massive amounts of energy to come in. And now things have been set up on the earth plane to react to that and to get a lot of these changes taking place. This next month or two, in fact, someone just was also saying, well, why don't you give us like a summary of February coming up? We have spoken in the larger channeled messages. Brissentia and I both have, and actually Crystalia too, have talked about how this year is going to be a year of roller coasters. Now, you've just spent January with a lot of information coming up, and so that's really been nudging at a lot of people and kind of forcing people to begin to awaken, those that have not. For those of you that are awake and have already been familiar with this, you're probably saying, oh, thank goodness, it's feeling so much better to me. But the thing to take into account here is the very large number of people that are living on the earth plane, and the fact that this energy is looking at the earth plane as a whole. And I can obviously look in and see pockets where there's super high vibrational energy, and then there's other people that are just kind of floundering. And I believe that for this next month in particular, a lot of those people that are very, very clueless are the ones that are going to feel as if they smack up against the wall. Now, I know that Shelley had her intention of what she wanted me to talk about, and I will talk about them, but I do want to talk a bit about the matrix. We haven't talked about that for several years now, or because most of the people that have been participating in this have already been aware of it, and they've been aware of the changes and have mostly disconnected themselves from it. So I did want to say that my perception is the vast majority of the matrix has been taken down. Now, what does that mean to you? That it's only up in bits and pieces? Or if you want to think about something that was like a web that surrounded the entire planet and people were kind of plugged into it, and that's how the programming took place and that's how the reaction took place. So that energy of the matrix has gotten thinner, 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 so that there are many, many millions of people, if not a billion or so, that have completely disconnected from the matrix. They have independent thinking. They react in a way that is coherently theirs or totally theirs, as opposed to just going through a programmed response. Those that are the most asleep, if you want to call them that, are the ones that are still connected into that matrix. And the matrix, to me, as I look at it, I would say it's gone by 90%. There may be others that disagree with me on that, and they may be the ones that say it keeps fracturing and cracking. And so what they're speaking about here is some of these people that are the ones that are in power, or the ones that may be entertainers, that they seem like their head does funny things, or their voice does funny things, or they have spastic movements. And so some people are saying, well, the matrix is cracking. So I want to take this point to also point out that the white hats, or those energies of the highlight vibration, do not do clones. And so if something is a clone, it is left over from the others. And that kind of spastic moving could be because it's the clone, could be because they're disconnecting from the energy that was controlling them. So I just wanted to point out so that you could be aware of that and you could consider that whenever you see these different things that are going on. I do want to reiterate that, as we've spoken about over the last several years, that many of these individuals have already been taken down. They are no longer what you see in front of you, are actors that are taking the place of them. Now, if someone was taken out and replaced with a clone, that was done by the negative energies, and those are the ones that are having spastic movement. I just felt I needed to say this at the beginning. For those of you that have heard this many times, let's just skip on and get to the topic for this evening. Okay, so let's talk about the planes first and foremost. There is a lot of controversy around it because, of course, the narrative that was put out to people was that it was a group of athletes that were coming back. There were like maybe 60, 65 on the plane. And then there were 3 people that were on the helicopter that hit it, and all of the individuals passed. So just the fact that there had not been a midair collision like that in many years, as I'm looking at it, probably at least 40 years, 35, 40, 50 years, something like that. So the fact that something like that happens just out of the blue, number one, that it happened in Washington, D.C., number two, and then that the way that it was maneuvered, the way that it happened, it went into the Patomic as opposed to coming down over the rest of the airport or a neighborhood or something else that would have caused even more people to pass on. So considering all of those things, my take on it is that this is going to be used for 2 things. Number one, I do not believe there were 60 people on the plane. I believe it was more so people that had nefarious intentions for the Capitol. They had been tracking these. The people that do that have been tracking these. The other thing that I wish to share is that I do believe that it was planned. There are multiple people that have also said that it was announced about the crash before it even took place, like 2 to 3 hours before it took place, not just minutes before it took place. And so all of these things are what is done somewhat intentionally to wake people up, for people to say that I'm questioning that. I'm not sure about that. The other big question is, were there even people on that Black Hawk elevator? They said that there were the 3 crew members, and you can go and you can see their whole storyline and everything that was about it. And my take on it is there was nobody on the helicopter, that it was manned by, what's the word we want to use? Remote control. And the reason that it was taken down is because, number one, they wanted to show people, they want people to start looking into this and asking questions and saying what's really going on here. And then number two, they want them to understand that this is going to be the opening up of the doorway to show just how complex and how convoluted things will be that the people will go to create a facade that they are going to be hiding behind, and they want you to just believe it hook, line, and sinker. Hence, going back to why I reiterated about the Matrix. Those people that are in the Matrix are going to just believe everything that was given to them up front. Those people that are more disconnected, if not fully disconnected, will look at that and say, there's something fishy about this. And then they'll hear about the announcement, and then they'll hear about these other things. And that's how it all comes together. So this was done, number one, first and foremost, to take out a group of people that did not have the best interest of the United States at heart. Number two, it was done in such a public way so as to make it known to vast numbers of people that this is what is going on. Now, there are others that are saying, well, it was the air traffic controllers that were at fault. There were, and that is not, they were not clued in on it. It feels like they were just kind of they did not know about it in advance. Or if they did, it was maybe just one or two people at the very top. So then the next question that I had was that I've heard from people is, was it taken out and orchestrated by the white hats, or was it taken out and orchestrated by the dark hats? And my take on that is that it was the white hats. So you will probably hear about things that are going to be happening in multiple different locations. And the reason is that they are no longer going to put things, what's the word I want to use? They're no longer going to hide things. There are going to be large numbers of people that will be removed at any given time. And the reason for it is because of these underlying problems that they knew about it. And they knew 100% accuracy. This could have been something that was very, very, very detrimental, like a bomb or something was on it. So it feels like it was very nefarious. Okay, so, and again, many of you are probably listening to that, say, yeah, that's what I thought. Yes, that's what I've heard. So I'm just here to confirm. The next thing that I want to talk about is the dome. Dr. President, the president dropped the information just last week about wanting to build a dome to go over the United States as a means of protecting from other what's the word? From other countries that might be attacking the U.S., and he referenced Israel. Now, one of the things that went through Shelly's mind, which is one of the reasons why she wanted to ask me about this, is that we are moving into the age of the higher vibrational frequencies where there's not going to be the warfare like there was before. So why would anyone need something as huge and massive as that? The next thing that was going through her mind was, well, are they talking about the dome that kind of is around the planet, meaning that which holds the gravity into the planet, and that which, outside of it is the universal energies, and inside of it is humanity. So my take on this is that this is going to be a way of awakening people to the potential that there are universal beings that are out in the universe. It is not going to be like this metal dome that's going to keep you from being able to see through and, and see. When you look back at some of those science fiction movies and they showed cities that were all encapsulated, that is the image that many, many people are picturing for this. And that is not something that is going to happen. It is not going to be something like that. What they're talking about here is something that is done with lasers and satellites as a means of, it's like an energetic thing so that ships can come in and out. And then if there is something that is coming towards the country or towards the planet, then it can be put into place as a filament kind of thing. Now, when I say filament, you probably think thin. No, I'm talking about something that is made with lasers and light and metals that you have not heard about. And then when that goes into place, that is different, and it's not something that is going to constantly be over there. So if the planet is moving into the higher frequency and there's not going to be warfare like there was before, then what is the need for something like this? Is it something that is just a way of awakening people to something else? Or is it maybe talking about with the reptilians and the Orion wars that were out within the universe that have been resolved, then is perhaps a question here that they're going to try to reignite that and try to bring in more of the nefarious ones to retake over the Earth plane or to attack the Earth plane. Is that perhaps more what is behind this? So let me take a minute and look at it. Let me connect with, I have a sense, but I want to make sure I look at it, and I want to make sure I give you as much information as I can. So let me just say that out here within the universe, just as with your planet, the vibration and frequency has risen to such a level that you don't have that warfare. You don't have the what do you call it, the slave trade, you don't have the trafficking, you don't have the things. Just as you've had everything going on your earth plane, so too on a much larger scale it's been going on out in your universe, and all of that has been wrapping up over the past 5 to 10 years. And so once the reptilians were taken out, which and I'm talking about the vast majority of them, I'm not saying that there couldn't be a few remainders somewhere, random people, but they're not enough to create a problem. And I mean, certainly they can create problems for people, but not what we're talking about, a whole universe attacking the planet Earth. That's not going to happen. So for the little pockets that may be out within the universe that might try to go back and do that again and might reignite that, I'm getting that there is a slight potential, just because people know how, I mean, the galactic beings, they know how these individuals have been, or these species have been, the way that they hide little pockets and stuff. So it feels to me as if this is more so about what is going to prevent or protect the planet. And it's not going to be just the United States. They may talk about the United States, but they may talk about these others. But this feels as if it's something that would encompass the entire planet. And it feels like it's something that they will start working on, and they may or may not need to ever finish it because things will have changed out in the universe. But my take on it is that it's not being done because of warfare on the earth plane. It's being done more so for warfare from the universe, or that potential. It also feels like it may be a way of introducing the universal beings and talking about the warfare that's been going on. And again, this goes back to the Stargates, and it goes back to, this is all bits and pieces that is a part of the disclosure that's about to talk to people, that there is life forms that are out in the universe, that there are individuals that have been fighting against the planet Earth, and just everything that has gone. In addition to that, as we said the last time we had the large channel, everything that you've been interpreting, everything that you've been receiving is going to move through a different process, and you're going to understand that what you've been told is not the truth. Some of it's the truth, some of it's been warped, but some of it is a flat out lie. So you will be getting so much more information. And by saying that there's going to be a dome and we're going to focus on this and we're going to be building this, is a way of just causing people to look to the sky, look to the universe, and it's going to open that up. There are still people that think there's going to be a false flag, or there's going to be a false alien attack, and those that want to implement that as a means of scaring humanity are less and less and less in number. So I do not see that happening. What I do see happening is within about 3 to 4 months that there will be more orchestrated connections or communications from those that are in the Galactic Federation with those that are on the Earth plane. So yes, there is going to be a great deal more spoken about as far as universal beings. And this is but another piece in the puzzle that's going to add to that. So be at peace. I thank you for listening to me. Know I'm ever with you on Saluia. Whew. Okay, there you go. That's Albayon's perceptions. So thank you so much for listening to me. Again, subscribe and like if you're interested, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.